5 dirt cheap tricks can keep your boiler running for 30 years, and the HVAC industry profits every single time you do not know them. These range from free 10-minute tasks to simple procedures that turn $10,000 replacement quotes into a couple of $100s. Each one targets a failure point that technicians love to call end of life. We are counting down from number 5, the easiest fix they will never volunteer. In 5th place, nothing exposes the HVAC industry's replacement racket faster than the simple act of bleeding your radiators and checking system pressure. Cold spots at the top of a radiator or that telltale gurgling sound are not signs of a dying boiler. They are just trapped air choking your system's efficiency and driving up your bills. All it takes is a radiator key, a towel, and 10 minutes of your time. Crack the bleed valve at the highest radiator, let the air hiss out until water flows steady, and you have just restored full heat flow for free. Follow up with a glance at the pressure gauge. If it is below 12 pounds per square inch when cold, top it off through the filling loop. This routine, costing $0, can add up to 5 years to your boiler's life and slash fuel waste. If the pressure keeps dropping after bleeding, that is when you call a professional. Do not let anyone tell you this is end of life. It is basic upkeep the industry hopes you will overlook. Number 4, automatic air vent inspection and replacement exposes just how little it takes to keep a so-called dead boiler running for another decade. This part sits at the highest point in your system, smaller than your fist, costs less than a dinner out, and yet when it fails, trapped air will strangle heat across the whole house. The symptoms are right under your nose: a constant hiss from the vent, crusty mineral stains, or cold spots that refuse to budge no matter how many times you bleed the radiators. Here is the kicker. HVAC companies know a stuck vent mimics total system failure. Mrs. Ramirez in Westchester was quoted $9,200 for a new boiler after a technician declared hers beyond repair. The real issue was a $32 vent jammed shut. Her neighbor swapped it in under 30 minutes. Total fix was $400 with labor, not $9,200. That is an $8,800 difference for a problem that takes less time than your morning commute. Replacing an air vent is as simple as shutting down the boiler, relieving the pressure, unscrewing the old valve, and threading in a new one with a dab of sealant. No special tools, no hidden fees. A fresh vent restores heat, slashes noise, and adds 8 to 12 years to your boiler's life. But as long as you do not know this, the industry keeps cashing in on replacements you never needed. Number 3 is the expansion tank, the silent pressure valve between your boiler and a cracked heat exchanger. A waterlogged expansion tank is a time bomb for overpressurization, and it is dead simple to catch before it destroys your system. Start with the tap test. With the boiler cold, wrap your knuckles or a screwdriver handle against the tank. A hollow ring means air is present, just as designed. A dull, heavy thud means water is where air should be. A failed diaphragm and mounting stress on every joint and weld downstream. Next, check the Schrader valve on top, just like a tire. A healthy tank reads 12 to 15 pounds per square inch when cold. If you get a blast of water instead of air, stop. That means a ruptured bladder, and the whole tank needs replacement, costing $150 to $250 for parts and labor, and taking about an hour and a half. If it is just low on air, you can recharge it yourself in 15 to 30 minutes for the price of a tire pump and a gauge. Shut down the boiler, isolate the tank, bleed off pressure, and add air up to spec. A properly charged tank relieves daily expansion, prevents relief valve blow-offs, and can add 8 to 15 years to your boiler's life. Ignore it and you invite short cycling, corrosion, and catastrophic exchanger cracks, the exact kind of failure that lines the pockets of HVAC salesmen. This is the line between safe, do-it-yourself, and danger. If water comes out the air valve, call a pro. Otherwise, do not let anyone sell you a new boiler just because your tank lost its air. Number 2. Circulator pump and zone valve. Maintenance is the line between a boiler that quietly heats your home for decades and one that dies an expensive, preventable death. Start with your senses. Hear a high-pitched whine, a low grinding rumble, or feel the pump body hotter than the pipes. That is not normal. That is bearing wear or a motor running dry, and it is the first clue you are about to be upsold on a new boiler. Put your hand on the pump. Vibration or a hot case means the bearings are crying out for help. A sticky zone valve, where the actuator hums but the stem does not move, will choke off flow, overheat your system, and set the stage for a cracked heat exchanger. These failures do not start big. They start with a little noise, a little heat, or a drip at the flange. The fix is straightforward. For $200 to $600, you can swap a circulator pump in under 2 hours. Zone valve seals and actuators run about $45 for the kit. That is 1/10 of what you will pay for a new boiler, and you gain another 10 to 15 years of life. Do not let anyone tell you a noisy pump or a stuck valve means your boiler is finished. Ask the technician, did you check for vibration? Did you listen for bearing noise? Is the zone valve actuator moving? If they push replacement, demand proof of a cracked heat exchanger, otherwise you are being steered toward a sale. Ignoring these warning signs is what actually cooks boilers, not the age of the system. Every year, thousands of perfectly good boilers are scrapped because no one bothered to check the circulator or the zone valves. Do not let yours be one of them. And finally, in first place, nothing shatters the boiler replacement myth quite like a full power flush combined with chemical water treatment. This is the secret that HVAC companies guard the tightest, because it is the one move that can add a decade or two to your system's life for a fraction of the price of a new install. Inside every aging boiler, sludge builds up year after year, iron oxide from radiators, mineral scale from tap water, rust flakes from every threaded joint. That sludge settles in low spots, chokes off heat transfer, and creates cold patches on your radiators. Worse, it bakes onto the heat exchanger, causing dangerous hot spots that warp metal and eventually crack the core. The industry calls it normal wear, but it is manufactured neglect. A power flush is a hard reset. Specialized pumps blast water and cleaning agents through every inch of pipe, scouring out years of black muck in a single afternoon. For the DIYer, power flush kits run about $220, less than a single service call. Hire a pro and you are looking at $450 to $800, including labor and chemicals. Compare that to the $10,500 replacement quote one Boston homeowner got for a 15-year-old Weil McLean. The real fix is a $600 power flush and a bottle of inhibitor. That is $9,900 that stays in your pocket, and a boiler that runs another 10 to 20 years with proper upkeep. But the job is not done after the flush. The real trick is adding a chemical inhibitor, a colorless solution that binds up oxygen, neutralizes corrosive minerals, and coats internal metal with a protective film. This stops oxygen pitting, the silent killer that eats away at heat exchangers from the inside out. With inhibitor in the system, corrosion slows to a crawl. The math is brutal for the industry. $62 a year to maintain a treated boiler versus $667 a year if you are stuck on the replacement treadmill. That is not just savings, it is a direct hit to the profit model that keeps HVAC companies flush. The industry's silence on this is no accident. Sludge and untreated water are their best salesmen. Every cold spot, every noisy radiator, every overheating shutdown is a marketing opportunity to push a new boiler. But when you power flush and dose with inhibitor every 5 to 7 years, you break that cycle. Homeowners who know this trick routinely see their boilers last 30 years or more, outliving the warranty, outlasting the hype, and outsmarting the replacement racket. For less than the price of a new smartphone, you can erase decades of so-called wear and tear and keep your home warm on your terms. That is the truth the industry hopes you never hear. Across all 5 tricks, one ugly pattern stands out. The industry profits every time homeowners stay in the dark. These are not advanced repairs. They are basic, dirt-cheap habits that put control back in your hands. Knowledge isn't just power here, it's pure money in your pocket. Demand better, stay informed.